Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's late night Q&A with ZodWriter. And with me tonight is an old friend of mine, somebody I haven't had a chance to hang out with in quite a while. This is Andre from the Nickatina Show. Andre, it's such a pleasure to have you here with me, brother. How have you been, man?
Good, man. Good. Thank you for having me on the show. We haven't had a chance to talk in a while, so this should be a lot of fun. Obviously, there's a lot of things happening in the entertainment world recently. So, I don't know. Where do you want to start at this point? I mean, there's so much to talk about.
For starters, I always like to start these Q&As off, checking in with the chat, seeing what they're doing. We got Marcus Cruz here, and I have this reputation of when I do the late night Q&As, I like to read all the comments.
That's
to
good.
give everybody a chance, for their voice to be heard. So that's kind of, it's kind of like a trademark, and people kind of like laugh about it because it's like they're like, we need to make more comments because he's going to get to the end, he's going to have read everything, and they keep trying to keep me going. So Marcus Cruz here says, hey Zod, have you seen my messages on Instagram? Marcus, I haven't been on Instagram too much lately. I've been too busy, but I'll have to check in on Instagram and see what your posts are, man. And Zeverfed is here. What's up, Ryan? He says, what up? And we've got BatDan530 in the chat. He says, let's go. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Hashtag make man of tomorrow. Exactly. I couldn't agree more with those sentiments, especially today. We're very important anniversary today, Nickatina. This is a day we should really be happy about, and really should be thankful, all things considered. I mean, this was the day that lit it all up, essentially.
It did. We've come a long way from, where this whole thing started. And, the fact that, on November 17th, what, like a year, 2 years ago, 2.5, however long.
2019.
When we, the whole,
we really were, everybody was united for that particular moment.
Well, it's crazy when you think about it, because I know that it got over 1 million tweets, I want to say, and even today, Restore the Snyderverse was trending, but imagine if it, to get to 1 million, that's a lot.
Yeah,
and it just took off. It's amazing, and because of that, because of how big it trended, that's what got their attention. And then, at that point, they realized that they can't ignore this anymore, that they just got let's start the process and see what this is all about. And obviously, look, if you're a fan like we are, you watch the movie, and it's a phenomenal movie. I absolutely love it. I try to watch as much as I can. If not, I'm watching scenes of it on YouTube. It's such a good movie, and in comparison to the movie that they did put out, this movie, it doesn't even compare.
It doesn't even compare. And what's so great is the fact that people are out there buying this movie on Blu-ray in droves. We're not just talking about, fans of this movie. We're talking about regular people that just like to watch movies.
Yeah.
There's a reason why this movie is selling out everywhere to this day. And the reality is because Zack Snyder's Justice League has mass appeal. And that's something that people, that can never be understated. When the studio tries to use the excuse, nobody liked it, nobody cared for that direction. Somebody's buying these movies. Yeah, somebody's buying these physical copies. If it wasn't popular, because we can't even talk about the numbers, the digital numbers, because we don't know. They won't release those. But the physical charts, that speaks for itself.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing too, is that when the movie first came out, streaming wise, everyone was like, oh, we have analytics from Samba TV, and then pretty soon it was like, oh, Samba TV doesn't mean shit. That's so unreliable,
right?
But later on, they'll report numbers for later movies like the Suicide Squad and all that. And I don't want to take anything away from the Suicide Squad. It's a fun movie, not my favorite, but it's a fun movie, right? But you saw numbers for other films that were released by Warner Brothers, but yet they never came back, or they never even released the numbers for how good Zack Snyder's Justice League did. Not even on Samba TV, but on just their platform alone, HBO Max. It didn't get a theatrical release, which is crazy because you would think that, if knowing that this movie was a success and that this is a product that can generate more money, you put it out in theaters once the pandemic lifted. You're like, hey, let's give it a theatrical run. But they didn't want to because the relationship they had with Zack Snyder had gotten to the point where they wanted to move in a different direction so bad that they were willing to forfeit any profits that they could have additionally made off of this product because they
and
just wanted to move on.
That's the tragedy of it.
It truly
in a
is.
sense, because when you look at it, all that means is it's essentially just the ego of the studio, of a few executives who can't get past their own whatever issue it is that they have with Snyder in this movie. And all in all, when you think about it at its core, it's simply because they don't want to be outshone. They don't want to be made to look like they were wrong for releasing Justice League. But that ship has already sailed. So at this point, you just own it because you've got a chance, to redo. You've got a chance to basically, you don't get a lot of do-overs in life. And that's the thing that's the whole thing I don't understand. This studio literally got a do-over. Got a chance to really say, did. Okay, we messed up, but we're going to go ahead and release this movie, and we're going to embrace this movie and move forward with the direction this movie was taking us. And I don't understand why that wasn't the mentality all the way around, which is why I'm very excited for this upcoming merger, Nickatina, because I think that's when we're going to start to see some real headway in regards to
I hope so.
What we want.
Yeah, I mean, look, I hope we see some headway, and I hope we see some changes coming from this merger. But I mean, until it happens, we just don't know. We don't know what's happening.
I agree. We don't know. We
do know that Zaslav is going to have his own office there on the Warner Brothers lot, which means that he's going to be very hands-on in any projects that they're going to be doing moving forward, which is awesome. And it's awesome to the extent of like, hey, we're glad that somebody else is going to have eyes on what's happening there, right? So that part of it's good. Now, is he going to make the right decisions that we want? We don't know. We don't know what his plan is at this point.
It sounds like he's a fan, though. So that's a good thing. It sounds like he's excited about Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, that kind of thing. He wants it to be successful, and
he does because he wants he wants to generate money. Revenue. I mean that's his job. That's what he's built around. And anyone would be doing that. So
you would think, but when you look at the studio,
exactly, because
they're Warner Brothers is like the exception to the rule on all of this. When you think about it, because it's like you want to make money, right? It's like Clearly, Zack Snyder is a hot commodity right now. I mean, my God, the man has gone over to Netflix and literally set the table with what he's done with his Army of the Dead universe, and now he's got this science fiction Rebel Moon movie coming out. And the thing is that when you look at somebody who is as dedicated to his work and his ideas and his plans, you would think that any studio would be jumping at the chance to work with Zack Snyder, especially Warner Brothers, given the fact that the movie has been called by a Warner Brothers executive a global phenomenon at this point. So it really is a fascinating conundrum that Warner Brothers sees themselves in when it comes to all of this. And when you look at everything that we did as a fan collective, to push to try to get this movie released, and the fact that it actually came out, it literally was like the unicorn, because not too long ago people were telling us that this movie didn't exist, and that's something that everybody needs to remember. We were being told that this movie was not real, that it did not exist, that there was no way it was going to happen, and I don't, and yet now we all own it on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
So
I got it right there. There it is.
I know it's like,
It's all the way.
man,
It's made it to this point now where now it's actually there on my shelf.
we will. So basically, if it didn't exist, you know what that means, Nickatina? That means that we willed it into existence. If it didn't
I
exist,
think so. You know, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I've never seen a fan base come together as much as we did in order to kind of bring this to make this a reality. But then again, I mean, this is the first time where you have a fan base that is so linked into social media and all that trying to do this. I mean, in a modern age, Warner Brothers was kind of fucked because they knew that these people, that we were never going to go away. We were never going to go
right,
away. Even
right.
if they hadn't released it yet, we would still be tweeting out, release the Snyder Cut. Still, we
It's
would
like
still be doing
it's
it.
like the telltale for me always was. I mean, Warner Brothers. You remember these days when Warner Brothers would put out tweets, about stuff coming out from Sesame Street. And one of my
Yeah,
favorite tweets was, F Elmo released the Snyder
yeah,
Cut. I just, to me, it's like at that point, that this fan base is not
yeah,
going
man.
anywhere. You're not going to get rid of
Exactly,
people by simply pretending that we don't exist and
exactly.
pretending that the movie doesn't exist.
But that's what they're doing now. I mean, for the most part, I mean, Warner Brothers is playing the long game right now. What they're doing is they're just saying, okay, look, we're just going to move forward because you know what, people are going to forget.
Yeah.
The people that were tweeting out restore the
Yeah.
Snyderverse.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like they're assuming, hey, this is just a vocal minority that is making waves in this movement. So if we just continue to ignore them, then they will just go away. But
Yeah.
we're not going to go away. I mean, it's just there. It's crazy when you think about so when you watch the movie and you see the storyline that's unfolding. I mean, and you know that there's so much more story to be told, but yet they're not moving forward with it because and it's not because the actors have moved on, or the director he moved on. No, everyone has even gone on the record of saying that yeah, I want to continue this story. I want to make these movies. I want to be a part of this project with Zach, but it's the studio that doesn't want to move forward. It's just crazy when you think about that. I mean, you have when you have all these actors that have already said yeah, let's do it. Let's make these projects, and the studio is the one telling them yeah, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah,
We're gonna do our own thing.
it
We
really
know
does.
what
It
we're
really
doing.
doesn't make sense. It
It
really
doesn't make
doesn't
any
make
sense.
sense.
And what it does is it looks very sophomoric. It looks very immature because you're just like, this is how you're going to conduct yourself as a company, is that you're not going to look to take advantage of profits that are just in front of you with actors that are waiting to, they're willing to, help make these projects come to life. You instead say, well, I don't really care about that, or the fans that are really hyped about this, we know what we're doing and you're gonna like it because
Right.
that's my
It's like
job,
they're telling
not
us. Yeah,
yours.
it's like they're telling us, you're going to like what we give you. Period. It's like
Yeah.
they don't care that there's a demand. It's the weirdest way to run a company. And the Snyder Fan 99 says the Batman synopsis says Batman is no better than a serial killer.
Well, but at the same time, though, I look, when it comes to Matt Reeves, the Batman, I think that a positive thing to take from that is that that there is a synopsis where he says is no better than a serial killer. So at least as a company, they've realized, okay, let's just let Matt Reeves make his fucking movie. Now, has there been reshoots or changes or whatever? I don't know. I mean, probably. I mean, every studio does a little bit of tinkering, but at least we're getting a movie with at least has a synopsis that says that so far has looked pretty. I think it looks pretty phenomenal and very dark as well. And let's hope that they give Matt Reeves full creative freedom over his own universe, which they've said before that it's a self-contained universe for the Batman, which is kind of weird too, because I mean, like we still don't know the status moving forward of like, Ben Affleck as Batman, the whole DCU in general, I've been saying this a lot on my show, is that to me, the Batman is a big project for them. And it's going to be a success because Batman like prints money. I mean, it's going to be a success regardless. But The Flash is the movie that really that everything is riding on in terms of the DCEU, in terms of their universe, their continuity, how they're going to structure everything. That is the biggest. That to me, that is the biggest cornerstone of their universe moving forward, because that's going to depict where we're going in the major storyline. The Batman can be successful all at once, and I can't wait for it personally. But to know that Matt Reeves, the Batman, exists in its own self-contained universe, that it's not connected to DCEU, then it's kind of like, okay, so if that is the case, then it has no effect on the main DCEU storyline. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So, I mean, we should. So, and with that in mind, DC is supposed to be a multiverse.
Exactly.
They've said this over and over again.
Over and over again.
So there should be room for everything. It doesn't. Be. I mean, I don't see why you can't have the Snyderverse and you can't have the Matt Reeves Batverse, whatever. You can't have the Super Pets universe, whatever you want. In a multiverse setting, it's fine. I mean, that's what we're seeing with Spider-Man. It looks like Spider-Man is taking the multiverse theory to very, very literal realities. And Batman 530 is commenting here, calling it now. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in No Way Home, but they are not playing Peter Parker. They are playing Ralph Boner's doppelgangers. Now,
who knows?
Now that would be interesting. I mean, to be honest with you, it would be so funny to me if they were in it and their cameos were just like throwaway characters, kind of like how like in Ghostbusters 2016 when they had like cheap little cameos by some of the original cast of Ghostbusters, and they didn't play anything connected to what obviously that didn't work. Obviously that was a bad move, but I mean, I wouldn't. It'd be pretty wild for them to go that route, Bad Dan. So I hope that that's not what they choose to do. Fear Jason says, "What's up, man?" What's up, man? Jesse Allen says, "Let's go." And Koopy Malik says, "Hey, Zod and Nickatina and all the chat." What's up, Koopy Malik?
What's up, Koopy Malik?
And we got Ambassadorial Wing in the chat right now. Prayers to Madam Ambassador, of course. Ambassador Wing, hope everything is going okay. He says, "Good evening, everyone. Nickatina Zod, good to see you all." And we've got Sickness in the house. What's up, Sickness? Always good to see Sickness, man. I always know that we're doing a good job when we got Sickness in the chat, man. That's great stuff. Everybody calling out Sickness here, and it says Zever Fett says, "It looks like both of you are wearing Zack Snyder's Justice League t-shirts." Yes, I am. I'm actually wearing the Snyder Cut t-shirt.
No, but what he's saying is that the thumbnail behind you, it blends right in, so it looks like you're wearing the shirt.
Yeah, well, that too, yeah. Because
Zod has a knack for that, where he ends up being like in the right position of a
thumbnail.
Yeah,
that's something that always seems to happen. And we got Andrew Casale here, who I call the true Spider-Man, Andrew Casale. He is here. What's up, man? Good to see you. Yeah, this is nice, man. I'm really, really happy with the turnout tonight.
Well, so let me ask you. Okay, so I know we've been talking about the Snyder Cut and all that because of the anniversary, right? But I mean, there was a pretty big fucking trailer that dropped yesterday in Spider-Man No Way Home. I mean, look, a lot of people had a lot to say about it. But I wanted to ask you, Zod. I mean, how'd you feel about the trailer? I mean, did you like it? I know I know Broham over here he thought it was kind of weak. That's fine. But I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I mean, did you like it?
I thought it was okay, but I was a little bit annoyed with it because I was expecting it to be a stronger trailer, given to the fact that you actually needed tickets to see it theatrically.
That was crazy that they were doing that for a trailer. Then when it's over, you're like, all right, tight. Well, okay, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, let's go. I mean, it's crazy.
And Ambassadorial Wing says, I'd pay to see it in IMAX, just speaking as someone who is a fan of good cinema. Obviously, you're talking about the Snyder Cut there.
Yeah.
And as we all would love to see that movie on an IMAX screen. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Well, I mean, they're having a screening over in Michigan for the Snyder Cut. I don't know if it's on. I think it's on IMAX. I want to say, or something like that. I don't know. I'd love to go, but it's too far away for me. And during the holidays, yeah, right. I can't go anywhere with my work. But I still think that there needs to be a screening of the Snyder Cut in IMAX on the West Coast. And maybe one day I'll set that up. I don't know.
Oh, that would be really cool. But I would love to see one, even if they just did like a Fathom Events kind of thing.
Yeah,
like they do for a lot of these movies, where they did it for one night. One night. That's not asking a whole lot. I mean, at this point, it'd be cool.
I mean, why not?
And it would probably do very well.
I mean,
honestly.
Army of the Dead had a theatrical release, a short one at that, but they still did it. You know, and I saw it in the theaters with Ryan and ACS, and it was cool. I was like, "This is badass! I get to watch it in the theaters. It's awesome." But that's the thing, is that this movie never got that. Another thing too, I know we're switching around topics here, but when it comes to Snyder Cut, the other thing that always bothered me about it was that I shouldn't say bothered me, but it's like originally they were going to release it as a mini series, or like a series on HBO Max, where every week you would see a different episode. And I always thought that if they would have released it as in episodic form, it would have gotten way bigger than just a movie. Because think about it, for the general audience who doesn't know anything about it, they're like, "Oh, this movie's 4 hours long. Maybe I won't watch this now. I'll watch it later or whatever." If it's a show, people are going to watch episode by episode because they're used to doing that. They're used to that format. So I think, again, you could look at the idea that it came out as a movie. I mean, it was intended to be a movie to begin with. So, I mean, like, I'm not mad it's a movie. But I feel like if it came out in episodic form, that it would have generated much more, a bigger amount of buzz than it ended up doing, which it still did fantastic, but still.
I feel like it's kind of, it's one of those things where it's almost like a coin flip, because the fact that what Zach did so brilliantly was by breaking it up in parts, the same way that, like, say, Seven Samurai is broken up into parts. Right. You're able to digest it at your own pace, regardless. No, it's exactly all there for you, but you can digest it, and you can take your time and watch it in parts if you want. But I get what you're saying about how, doing it week to week would have dragged it out longer, and you would have had an audience that would have been able to get into it like they get into their favorite TV shows.
Yeah, well, and think about it too. I mean, before every stream or before every release of the episode, think how many live streams there would be, leading up to each episode. It'd be crazy.
Oh, I
Obviously,
know.
you couldn't do a watch party because Warner Brothers takes down anything that you put.
Anything. Even you post,
it's so bad.
Still, I'm actually surprised I'm not getting hit with copyrights by your background.
I know, but it's crazy. Like, it's gotten so bad that, like, you can't post anything, or you can't show anything on YouTube. They just take you down. Even stills. You show stills, they'll come after you for that too.
Oh, I know. It's ridiculous. I feel bad for everybody that's ever had to deal with anything that has to do with WB. They're so stingy about everything. Stingy. And it's all, and what's funny is that it's all fan stuff. It's all free promotion for them. They're not spending any money. Exactly. So why are they so worried about it? Nobody is doing anything that's going to harm their intellectual properties. I don't get it at all. And
it's almost like they just want the fans to shut up so bad that they're like, "Look, we're going to take away the content from you, so you can't even use it anymore."
Right.
But what's crazy is that before all this happened, before the Snyder Cut even came out, you could you could play not a fucking movie, but like you can live stream a Warner Bros. Movie on Twitch. Like I watched, you were there too. We watched BVS one night. I've done the Suicide Squad. I've done, and now if you do it even on Twitch, they'll take down your stream. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's
On
crazy.
Twitch isn't even safe. Wow,
Twitch is not safe anymore.
that is nuts.
And what's crazy is that when you actually get a what do you call it? A copyright, strike or whatever, it'll tell you what company hit you for it, and a lot of times it'll say Warner Brothers. Sometimes it'll be a random company because they're working for Warner Brothers looking for the content. It's crazy, man. It's totally insane. Totally insane.
It's like the bots have gotten ahead of everything. It's like they've got such good bots in there that are just looking for ways to kill streams and stuff. It is nuts.
It's nuts.
And the whole effing show channel says right here, Black Adam first look was better than the Spider-Man trailer. Yeah, I have to say I was a little bit underwhelmed with the Spider-Man trailer. I think
Spider-Man, it was
Spider-Man kind of speaks for itself. People are excited for Spider-Man.
This was a villains trailer where they basically showed every villain who's going to be in this fucking movie, which I was like, wow.
I was surprised when they showed Sandman. I was like, wow.
Yeah, they showed them all. I mean, you saw the Lizard, you know what I mean? But obviously, I think that in the next trailer, because there's probably going to be another one eventually. Thank you, Ascended. I think the next one is going to be like the Heroes trailer, where you're going to see more of the heroes possibly. Because I mean, there's no way that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are not going to be in this movie. I mean, they're going to be in this movie. But I think if they are in the movie, it's going to be at the very end, where they just show up at the end, kind of like an end game, how everyone shows up at the end for one last battle. I feel like that's what's going to happen with Spider-Man. They're all going to show up at the end, and they're all going to take on all the villains. So it should be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, that's really the only way I think it could go. I mean, you're going to have basically they could have called the movie Spider-Man United. I mean,
yeah, they could have.
I mean, and at this point, it's pretty clear that that's what we're going to get. And with the sheer amount of villains in the movie, it's hard to imagine it going any other way, because that's way too many villains for one Spider-Man to take on, clearly. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be cool. I don't think it'll necessarily disappoint. I think it'll probably be the best one out of the MCU Spider-Man movies, I think. Mm-hmm. I mean, although I don't know, because the animated Into the Spider-Verse was pretty good.
That was good. I liked it. Yeah.
And Ambassador says, listening in from the waiting room. Madam Ambassador is in surgery. Not trying to be a downer for anyone. No, man.
Not at all, man.
It's all good. I hope. I'm just hoping and praying everything comes through okay, Ambassador. Glad you're here.
Definitely.
And yeah, history 100%. McLovin is here. What's up, man? It's been a long time since I've seen you, man. How you doing?
He's making a comeback, man. He's been showing up in streams. It's awesome.
That's great. That is so great. And Droga 52 says, "Hey
Axel
guys,
Droga, what's up, man? Axel Droga. Hey, if you guys haven't done so yet, check out Axel Droga over on Twitter. He does some really cool art, and it looks just like the what do you call the DC animated universe. Leading up to everything up to Apocalypse War. It's that same kind of style. It's really cool. I like it a lot.
I like this comment a lot. Every time I watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, it feels like I'm dreaming. Yeah, because this is a movie. This is a movie we were never supposed to see. Everybody has to remember that this movie was never supposed to happen. Not in the grand fashion that it did. That's for sure.
It was dead.
Yeah, remember Roberto Gonzalez deaded?
Yeah, it was deaded. It's a pipe dream, and no, it happened. So it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just, it's just so exciting to be sitting here, after all this time, and now having the movie on Blu-ray, and it's hard to believe because this has been such a busy year and a crazy year. It's hard
I
to believe
know.
that this was the year. This is actually the same year that the movie came out. The movie actually came out in March of this year. It's hard to,
It's crazy.
rack your brain around that
Well,
because
March of
like
last year.
March of last year, but
Because yeah, I mean, we're almost the anniversary of its release, which is insane as it is, you know. But I mean, now that I have it, the physical copy, it feels to me great knowing that like I actually have it. You know, I have a copy that cannot get taken away from me, which is great.
yeah, definitely. And we have a 199 super chat here from Bat Dan, released the air cut, saying ZodWriter was exposed for buying subscribers. Yeah, I was allegedly exposed for buying subscribers,
By
and
who?
I don't know, Bat Dan. Do you want the exposed video, or do you want something else? I'll leave it up to you, but I can play the exposed video for you if you'd like. Actually, let's go ahead and do that. Let's play the exposed video here. This is pretty funny. There was a YouTube channel, Nickatina, up for all of 24 hours that called You Suck, dedicated to just exposing me because I allegedly bought subscribers, but the video doesn't really show any evidence that I bought subscribers. It just shows that my channel grew, and to this day I really don't know. But here's the video. Let's check it out. So there you go.
That's the video.
That was my me being exposed. Yes. So thank you very very much, Bat Dan. Yeah, that video
Who
doesn't really
exposed you, I
show
wonder?
doesn't really show anything except the fact that my channel is growing. Oh well, I don't know. And that's just hilarious to me. I'm just like, wow, my channel is growing, so I'm being exposed.
I don't know, man.
We've got King Jordan here and says Spider-Man movie is a generic movie. They clearly don't have any ideas to finish the trilogy. Same with the Flash movie. They had no ideas. So let's bring nostalgia back with old characters. Yeah, it is a lot. It has a lot to do with nostalgia. We are living, guys, in the time of nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's just basically everything revolves around nostalgia now. So in any movie, any TV show, if they've got, I mean, I just got done. I binge watched the first 5 episodes last night of that Chucky TV show on
I haven't seen that yet.
USA Network.
I was surprised at a TV show.
Yeah, and then you want to talk about nostalgia. I mean, it literally is like, I mean, it's because it's tied to the movie continuity, the classic movie continuity that started all the way back in the 80s.
Really?
It's tied into that continuity. It's not connected to anything new. It's not a new version. It's even and on yesterday's episode, spoiler for everybody, the little kid from the very first movie, Andy Barkley, returned, and he was in the show. They got the same actor who played the child that
the
was the original child who was hunted by Chucky in the first film.
He was he was like a serial killer, right? And then his soul got put into the doll.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that. And I was like, okay, so it made sense. Oh, I shouldn't say it made sense, but I liked how he was he was already a bad person when he was like a doll came to life and wanted to kill people. Like it was, because of who he uh, who he used to be. You know.
But it's just another example though of how right now we are totally living in the time of nostalgia. It's
Oh
like the
yeah.
nostalgia generation for movies and TVs because again, original ideas are hard to come by and people just and it just seems like I mean, this is why Spider-Man is like that. Why you're going to have Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and
Well, but at the same time,
Flash is doing the same thing. You got bringing back
yeah.
Michael
Oh yeah,
Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
I mean, that's a nostalgia berry for you.
Oh, definitely. It's a nostalgia move, and you know, I don't know where they're gonna go with the whole Michael Keaton Batman story. I don't know what their plan is. But whatever it is, I mean, I'm definitely gonna check it out. I'm a big fan of Michael Keaton as Batman. I love Batman '89. I love Batman Returns.
I'm wondering, Nickatina, do you think it's going to go towards a possible Batman Beyond? Like they'll keep working with Keaton?
I don't know. I think all that is really in his court. Like, do you want to stay here and play this other character, or play Bruce Wayne mentoring Terry McGinnis? I think that I almost want to say no. I mean, the guy's older. I don't want to call the guy old. He's in better shape than I am. But I mean, he's an older actor. I don't think he wants to carry on with the character and do multiple movies as Bruce Wayne. I mean, it could be. I mean, we don't know. And if he does, he does. I'm definitely gonna check it out. More power to him. But I mean, I don't see him. I don't see them. I just don't see it happening. But you never know. I mean, do you think it's going to happen?
I don't know. But I always kind of thought that if they were ever going to do a Batman Beyond, that he would be the one that they would use if he was still alive.
Right.
But it's kind of like, but I don't know. It's all going to depend. I mean, if it's, I think it's going to depend on how successful this Flash movie is. A lot of things are going to, again, like you were saying earlier, a lot of stuff in terms of like the DCEU and just the general, reality for these movies as a whole. It's all going to depend on the Flash.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that we just don't know what their plan is. I know Integrity 101 is hardcore about Zach coming back, and I hope he's right. I mean, everything you're saying here, Integrity, I hope you are right. In no way do I ever disagree with Integrity, because I want that to happen. But what would be the craziest, stupidest? I don't want to call it stupid, but what would be the craziest shit if they ever pulled this off? If they try to go this route, can you imagine if people are going to shoot me down for this one? Can you imagine if they did the Batman Beyond storyline, but in this iteration, the Barry Allen from this other reality, who probably doesn't have abilities. Imagine if they're like, oh yeah, Batman's going to mentor that guy, but maybe he's not Batman Beyond. I don't know, because he lives in the same world but he has longer hair, so I don't know. And that's the thing too with the Flash. It's like you're seeing two different Barrys. I don't know what reality everyone's in. Are they in an alternate reality, or is he going to restore? But the thing is that, like, when it comes to Flash, you can't. I shouldn't say you can't, but I don't think that they're going to destroy their quote unquote multiverse and create a new one continuity. I think they'd be smart to utilize all their properties and say, hey, look, everything you saw, every movie that you saw on the big screen, that all still exists. That all still is that's all still relevant, because they all live in their own universe. So it's like, which I think is cool, because then it's like every movie you watch, you realize, oh, this was not just a one-off, or this is not just a movie that didn't go anywhere. It's part of its own universe, and I think that's actually pretty cool. But who knows what the hell they're gonna do?
Zod and Andre, I have a question. Did you like Eternals? I haven't seen Eternals yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I've been planning on watching it. I just haven't done it yet.
Integrity 101 says, no doubt at all in my mind that the plan for Keaton is a Batman Beyond ish film. In fact, I think that's the whole point. Flash is the bridge to Burton Keaton Batman 3. Maybe you could
Yeah,
be right.
maybe.
I mean, I kind of was thinking along those lines earlier, where I was thinking maybe Keaton has it in his contract that he would only do this movie if he got to have Tim Burton come back and do like a Batman Beyond, like a third, but like you were saying, Integrity, like a third Keaton verse movie, which would be fine if they decided to do that too. But again, it's a multiverse, so there's room for everything, and I really hope that this Flash movie illustrates that there's room for everything.
Well, because I mean, imagine if it doesn't. Imagine if it comes out and it sucks. Then I mean, think about how big of a hit they are going to take if the Flash sucks. If we go see the Flash and we're like, this is stupid, or like this doesn't make any sense. If it does not hit on all levels, I mean, it's almost at a point where it's like, do you just carry on, or do you go in full reboot mode? Because I mean, it's like that's what I'm saying.
Do you think that for WB, do you think that the Snyderverse is their fallback position? Because let's say this Flash movie is a colossal failure, like you said, and it sucks on all levels. Now they could always look at the Snyderverse and be like, well, people want more of this. Let's just go in this direction.
I think if you're smart, you set up in the Flash movie that every iteration of the characters exists in their own universe, which means that the Snyderverse exists in its own universe. It's a multiverse.
Yes.
If you do that, then that gives the studio the opportunity to fall back and say, okay, Snyder, we're going with you. Let's continue on with this storyline, because we have essentially we have definitively or like we have created a multiverse, and the fans understand that there is a multiverse that exists within DC. So let's say if the Flash bombs and the Flash does not do well, then they can always say, okay, well, let's continue to make these movies on this storyline, because we established in that movie, The Flash, that bombed, that all these different universes still exist. So let's do that. Because then you have Batgirl. Now with Batgirl, you have J.K. Simmons coming back, which everyone's like, okay, so if J.K. Simmons is Commissioner Gordon, that means that Ben Affleck would have to be Batman, right? And then you got a picture from one of the directors of Batgirl looking at Batfleck's cowl. So does that mean it takes place in quote unquote the Snyderverse? I don't know. Then that's
not necessarily, because remember, it's a multiverse. Batfleck could be Batman in many universes.
Right,
it doesn't necessarily mean that it's our Batman. Batfleck. And Jesse Allen says, imagine if the Flash visits the Nightmare timeline in the film and they announce the Snyderverse in the credits. That would be cool.
That'd be cool. I don't.
But that's like wishful thinking on another level. But that, I mean, I wouldn't, I wouldn't mind. I would be excited if that was the case. And Batdan says, do you guys think the Flash films based on the main Barry's home universe will be in the Snyderverse? I don't know.
I almost feel that it's. I want to say yes, that the main Barry will be the one from Zack Snyder's Justice League, but more than likely they will leave it loosely connected, so that you're not really sure if he's from, the Justice League movie or from Zack Snyder's Justice League. They're just going to leave it loosely connected, and because I mean, in Zack's movie, he fucking went back in time and saved the League. In the theatrical cut, he didn't do any of that shit. So he doesn't even know how to do that. So it makes sense that in this movie, in The Flash, that he would be messing with time because he's done it already. So now he's going to push his limits to see what else he can accomplish. try to save his mother, and not knowing and not realizing how much it would change, reality. And I think I was telling a buddy, I think I was telling Ryan actually, that it wouldn't surprise me if the main Flash character exists in an alternate reality as a variant, because essentially, because he went back and saved his mother, it created a alternate reality that he's existing in as a variant, while there's already a Barry that lives in that universe that would have gone through that timeline where his mother stayed alive. Which would then also create a Barry that never had to deal with the loss of his mother, the imprisonment of his father. So now you have a Barry that hasn't had to deal with those losses, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
so what would happen if another version of yourself? Okay, so imagine if another version of yourself, Zod, showed up and said, hey, how's it going? Like, I need your help because I need to get back to where I came from. And obviously you would trust yourself, right? Because that's you. And then imagine if the alternate you says, yeah, so in my world, my mother died and my father went to jail. So for because they accused him of murdering my mother. So I need to restore that and put everything back the way it was. You might say to yourself, well, wait a minute, if you do that, does my world still exist? So
Yeah.
maybe that Barry becomes the villain in this movie because he's like, I have to stop him from destroying my world. So who knows? I mean, there's so many different directions this movie can go into, and hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah, I hope so too. And Vega, what's up, man? Good to see you. Vega says Zod and Nickatina in the house. What's good, everyone? It's a good night, Vega, and we gotta play something for you. And so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna play the exclusive clip that was given to me from Warner Brothers.
Oh shit!
From the Robert Pattinson Batman movie. For those of you that have been following my channel and watching these streams, you guys have probably already seen this clip, as Warner Brothers hasn't sent me any new clips. And this clip is awesome, but as usual, I must apologize for the graphic violence and graphic language in the clip. But Vega, here it is. Thank you for the super chat, my brother.
What's up, Hey, right for that thing? All right, what's up? What's up? We should just go blast the motherfucker. Hey, come on, let's go blast that fool. Oh, yeah, you know shit. That's one, two, no shit. Oh, yeah, that shit just blast the rest of stupid. Serious, we gotta blast the fool, man.
Freeze. Don't even think about moving. Turn that fucking noise off. I should shoot every last one of you just based on the music you listen to.
Hey, check this clown out. Halloween until October. Didn't we kill his chingada mind already?
Now, I'm not here to trick-or-treat, but I'm definitely here to turn you fucking douchebags into permanent ghosts. Get on your knees and interlock your fingers behind your head. You bitches get your ass in that room, and I swear to God, if I see a sliver of light from that door jam, I'm gonna have each and every one of you suited for a white sheet with black holes for eyes, you feel me?
What the fuck? I fucking killed you, dog! I left you for dead in the alley that night. You ain't even fucking here. You're a ghost, Bato.
You killed the man, not the cause. You thought you were pretty badass out there destroying people's lives, did you? Well, I'm here to settle the score for every last person you victimized in this city.
You know who you're fucking with, you stupid motherfucker?
Yeah, I know who I'm fucking with. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, and dead is evil Knievel.
No, motherfucker, you know what? You're fucking with pure evil. We got our homies on the bureau. They'll be back any second, dog. You know what? Regardless, you ain't getting out of here alive. You're done, that's it.
That may be true, but I'll live long enough to piss on your fucking grave. Judge not, that I not be judged. Though I walk in the shadow of darkness, my shield is my vengeance, my armor is my hatred, my weapon is my Father, His Son, and her Holy Ghost. This is a message from this city. Every mug has its day. Vatos.
All right. Thank you again, Vega. Good looking WB for giving my brother Zod the exclusive scene to the Batman. Yes. And thank you for the super chat. I'm glad that you liked that exclusive clip. It never gets old. I love showing it because people just have to realize this is going to be a lot darker, a lot more violent Batman. And honestly, I mean, wow. Yeah, and like Zebra Fed over here says, Vatos Locos. Yes. Pat and Sickness points it out here. Pattinson is brutal, indeed. Holy crap, that's a lot of exposition. Yes, indeed.
Man,
honestly, it was
a lot
really
of inspiration from the Dark Knight. Looks like too.
It was deep. It was deep. I mean, Pattinson is nobody to mess with. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. People that are expecting Pattinson to be, less violent than, say, Ben Affleck's Batman are really, really going to be in for a rude awakening when the movie comes out next year. And Integrity 101 says, to me, the true Snyderverse in any film is any film directed by Snyder starring Cavill, and other films are just DC movies that may or may not connect to Snyder's core films. It's the director's choice. That's the point. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is the director's choice whether they or not they want to connect the movies to the Snyderverse. And I'm just hoping, considering how much Andy Muschietti seems to respect Zack Snyder and he seemed to enjoy the Snyder Cut. He said a lot of nice things about the Snyder Cut. And so maybe, I mean, who knows? Maybe he did connect, some of the Flash to it. But I mean, we won't know until we see it. That's the thing. We really, at this point, know virtually nothing about the Flash. Isn't that something? Like at this point, there's really nothing. And the clip that they showed at Fandom really did nothing but add more questions to the mix. You really didn't watch that clip and say, okay, yeah, now I know what's going on. No, it's crazy. Koopy Malik says Batman wins brutality. Indeed. And less violent than Clooney's Batman, though. Batdan 530 says, with the Henry Allen recasting, I hope the Flash into the Batverse is not Snyderverse. Well, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Maybe this Henry Allen is proof that this takes place in another continuity.
Yeah. I mean, that could easily be the case. I mean, imagine if because you saw that scene in the quote unquote trailer where he's walking up behind his mother, remember, Barry, and he's like, he's approaching, he's in the house, he's walking up behind her like, oh my God, you're alive. So imagine if he does that, he meets his mother and she's like, hey, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden his dad shows up and he's like, wait, who are you? I'm your dad. What are you talking about? And that's when he realizes that, wait a minute, something's wrong, because his dad looks different. I mean, we're talking about a Batman. It's not even gonna be Ben Affleck. It's gonna be Michael Keaton. So who knows, man? It could be a universe where it for all we know, like he could be in a universe where it's like blending a whole bunch of different multiverses together.
So like some Mortal Kombat type stuff where Outworld is like totally intersecting with reality, and then you have just a weird universe that makes no sense one way or the other. I mean,
and for all we know, like that could be what it is that he finds out that by doing that, by going back in time and saving his mother, that it fucked the multiverse up so bad that like it just kind of blended them all together. And so now you have Keaton as the Batman, you have Sasha Calle as Supergirl. You know what I mean? Like everything is just all mixed up.
Yeah, and you got Ben Affleck thrown in there for good measure. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, and like I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see more Batman cameos from other actors, other superhero cameos too. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if Linda Carter is thrown in there as Wonder Woman. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. There's so much.
But she's going to
that
be in
they-
Wonder Woman 3, obviously.
yeah, obviously, right? Yeah, she's gonna be Wonder Woman in Wonder Woman 3. The Snyder,
Probably at this point.
the Snyder fan 99 says the Flash movie has Kiersey Clemens as Iris West. She was in the Snyder cut, and that's an interesting.
That's a big one. That's
another big one there too, because yeah, I mean Justice League completely cut her out. She doesn't exist if we go by Justice League. So that in and of itself is really crazy. Vegas says good point, Snyder fan. And Jumbled Beats wants to know, I'm starting a new YouTube. Any tips on buying subs? I don't know, man. I wouldn't know the first thing about where to go about buying subs, but that's a good question.
What's up, man?
I'm sure there's people out there that have done that have bought subs that would probably know where to go to do that. But sorry. Bat Dan says let's see. Aquaman 2018 had Willem Dafoe and he was in the Snyder cut, but that definitely ain't Snyderverse. Yeah, using the actual using the other movies as any kind of metric for whether this movie is going to be in the Snyderverse or not in the Snyderverse, it's kind of difficult because there's so much that only parts of this connect or parts of that connect. And I still debate with myself whether or not I consider Aquaman to be a part of the Snyderverse or not. I lean more towards no, like it's in its own, because it does contradict the Snyderverse in a few different directions. But at the same time, it is something that Jason Momoa himself hyped up as being part of the Snyderverse, essentially.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
really
hard,
don't know where
man.
it's going to go at this point. I don't. There was a tweet from Fatal J today about the Batman looking just like the Dracula Untold ad, but I don't know if that was real or not. I was like, I think that was fake. I wasn't sure.
It would be cool if like if he ends up being the vampire, Batman in this movie, like the Elseworlders, vampire Batman, and that wouldn't be bad because that would definitely be a unique take. But what would that do? That would put Pattinson in a different spot, altogether. Zeverfet is answering your question here. Jumble Beats. There you go. Subhub.com. There you go.
That's it.
There you go, man. So there's your answer.
All your needs.
Right. All your needs. Integrity 101 says, I think they don't trust Ezra to carry a solo film. I think they wanted Keaton, but were afraid to jump right into Batman Beyond. So they're using Flash to relaunch Keaton as a primer for Batman Beyond. That's an interesting take.
That's an interesting take, but at the end of the day, it's like we don't know what the hell they're doing. We don't know what their plan is, and they don't want to release. They don't want to tell you anything until the movies come out because they're so jaded to. They don't want to release anything because they don't want any backlash early. They just want to be able to do their thing and see and just prove to you like that they can get it done. And let's hope they do. I mean, for the most part, they're in control. So let's hope Let's hope the Flash movie works out.
Yeah. I mean, because we don't go into any of these movies wanting these movies to fail. We want all these movies to be good. We want them to be successful. But at the end of the day, it's hard.
But the thing too is that like if it fails, if the Flash fails, what does that mean for DC films? You could say, does it fall back to the Snyderverse? Like, hey, let's bring Zack back and explore that elbow or that leg of the multiverse, right? You can, right? hopefully that window still stays open, that you can do that. But if it fails, what do they do at that point? They just carry on and just like, hey, Flash sucked. Let's just keep pushing on. We got Black Adam coming up, and let's just keep it rolling, because they can't reboot everything because they've already got other projects in production, like the Flash, like Aquaman. You know what I mean? So Wonder Woman 3, for crying out loud. So I mean, we're gonna get more of this DCEU. However, they're gonna give it to us. I mean, there's stuff coming. We just don't know what's happening.
Exactly. And Integrity 101 says non-Snyder DC films are only loosely connected to the Snyderverse. If a director wants to be faithful to Zack, they can. If they want to ignore Zack's movies, they can as well. Yeah, that's a good point. And Zebra Fett puts it very eloquently. Birds of Prey 2, bitches.
That's it, man. Birds of Prey 2. They were just talking about that recently, that they're going to make a Birds of Prey Part 2 without Harley Quinn, just with the rest of the Birds of Prey, which is kind of like, okay, that should be an HBO Max movie, but whatever. I don't know what their plan is for that.
Well, I don't know what their plan is for that either, but Birds of Prey 2, that's the comment of the night. I'm going to go ahead and pin that, because really, if they make that movie, if they really seriously make that movie and they don't restore the Snyderverse,
well, exactly, right? But that's the thing too. Okay, so when it comes back to, let's say, Wonder Woman 3, we know that Linda Carter is going to be in Wonder Woman 3. Okay, she's probably going to have a very significant role. Now, my thing is that, like, hey, look, that's cool and all, but I feel like Gal's at a point where she can carry her own movie now. So why not have a continuation of her storyline? Take her back to Themyscira. Let's see an Amazonian war happening, of them being attacked by another army or another villain or something, But
we know. Well, one thing we know is that Patty Jenkins' schedule's freed up because they 86'd her Star Wars movie.
She's out. And they're saying that she left due to creative differences.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They're probably like, you know what, this was a bad idea. Why did we hire this girl? Let's get her out of here. Now, who knows, dude? Who knows?
Yeah. She's one of those people that spoke a little bit too soon with her little Star Wars Rogue Squadron little teaser trailer that she did with her little flight jacket and all that.
Rollerblades.
Oh my God!
Like, what is this?
And
then you watch Wonder Woman 84. It's a terrible. Look, there's parts of it that I like. I'll give it that, but the movie sucks.
No, I thought the movie was just garbage from top to bottom.
Yeah,
I really can't even look at anything in that movie and say that was positive. I actually would go as far as to say Wonder Woman 84 never should have been made. At least not in the form that we got. And it really has no excuse, considering all the delays and stuff that we got from that movie too. Mm-hmm. The movie should have been good. And Patty has no excuse, because this was her vision. This is what she wanted. So, she can't blame it on anybody. At least she can't blame it on, at least they can't use Zack Snyder as a scapegoat for this movie. That's,
And people were like, oh, well, he supported it. Well, dude, the studio was going to make his movie. I'm sure part of that was, hey, we're going to do this, but this is what you got to do for us. You got to help promote Wonder Woman 84. And he's probably like, well, yeah, I mean, I know Patty, and
he considers her a friend. He supports Gal Gadot.
That's fine.
What is that going to do? Be a complete jerk and just be like, no, I'm not going to support. No, of course he's going to support, his fellow colleagues in the industry. I mean, come on, you wouldn't expect anything less from Zack Snyder. He's such a kind-hearted, giving guy. Of course he's going to support these people. In fact, I'd be willing to say he's going to support these people whether they ask him to or not.
Exactly.
I mean, even because remember, he even came out and said some nice things about the Robert Pattinson Batman movie. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to come out and support that, but he is supporting it. Why? Because he supports his colleagues and he's a nice guy, and he may genuinely think that Matt Reeves' take on Batman's going to be cool. So, I mean, I don't know. I just don't expect. I just get surprised when people act surprised when Zack Snyder comes out in support of other filmmakers. I mean, it's the right thing to do, you know. And Bat Dan says here that Air Cut and Wonder Woman 2017 are Snyderverse. Yeah, they are. And let's get some more Peacemaker. Oh my God! You talk about a TV show that probably shouldn't exist. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know.
I mean, were you a fan of John Cena's character in Suicide Squad?
I didn't hate his character, but I don't think to me. I mean, I can see why they decided to make a show off of him, because for one, John Cena is a popular character. He has fans. He has a big fan base. And so what they wanted to do was they wanted to take advantage of that and say, hey, let's give him his own show. Let's keep his fans on HBO Max. And that's all they're doing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the character I wanted to explore. It wasn't anything about his character. I was like, I want to see more of that.
His character was horrible. I've said this before. If there was one character that I would not have minded seeing a TV show come out of from there, was Polka Dot Man. I would have loved to have seen what they would have done in a series, how they would have explored that character. Because there was a lot of unique, crazy stuff about that character that would work for a TV show.
You know, he was the only character, well, I shouldn't say the only one, but the way that they told his story was better than any other character, because what they did was they kind of sprinkled his story throughout the movie. You know, when you see him in the jungle and he has all those dots all over his face, he's like, I'll be right back. And he goes in the bushes, and all of a sudden it's like, he gets all bright and colorful, and he comes out and he has all his polka dots are gone. You're like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, it's like he went in the bushes, peed and came out, and then that helped it.
But it still added a little bit of mystery in the sense that, like, what the fuck just happened? So it kept you intrigued by his character, then the whole mom thing, and then he talked about his past a little bit. It was for some reason it was just interesting. It was like, oh, I kind of want to know more about this guy for some reason. And then he dies. So
yeah. So we know pretty much. We know just as much about him now as we did when the movie started, which is to say not that much. And Zeverfett says Zach does have to support Pattinson's Batman. He's an executive producer. It's in his best interest to promote it.
Is he an executive producer on the Batman?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was.
I didn't know he was an executive producer. Well, whatever.
And Integrity 101 says the anti-Snyderverse WB execs are all in on the Batman and the Flash. This is their last chance to keep their jobs. My guess is Zaslav already told them, do not turn Flash into Justice League 2.0 or you're done. That would make sense. And Peacemaker was the worst character in that movie. I have to agree. I hated Peacemaker in that movie.
Yeah, it sucked. I mean,
and then he kills Rick Flag too, which to me, was one of the worst things. I mean, Rick Flag was actually kind of a cool character, and yep, he is it is in his contract. Same with Wonder Woman 84. All right. Well, thank you for that, Zeverfett, because I didn't know that either. I didn't know he was an executive producer. But I want to say thank you, Nickatina, for being here with me tonight, man. I appreciate this. This has been a lot of fun. We rarely get a chance to stream together anymore, and it's always a pleasure when we do, man. So I just want to, say, man, hey, keep doing what you do. It's always great, and I hope to stream with you again in the future, man.
Of course, man, definitely, and same to you as well. I mean, if you guys haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel, ZodWriter, man.
Yeah, and definitely subscribe to Nickatina, man. Hey, dude, we're over here. We got all this stuff we're still trying to do. There's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about in the future in the coming months, and hopefully we'll collaborate on some more stuff,
Yeah,
and
man, for sure.
we'll see what happens. You know, what do you got coming up?
I'm working on trying to do a live stream this Saturday because I didn't get to do one on Monday. And I'm off for the weekend, so I think I'm gonna do probably a late night stream on Saturday night, and then obviously I'll be back on this Thursday tomorrow with the Four Nerds, and then we'll be back on Monday, of course, for the Nickatina Show. So,
and how's that been working out since you guys switched to the whole Four Nerds Network kind of a thing?
It's been cool. And what's funny is that it just so happens that right when we did that, StreamYard came out with the team members option. So which makes it great because now basically you can add people as co-hosts to your channel, which gives them host privileges so that you don't have to be like, hey, could you send me the access code to get into StreamYard? No, it's like now we all have access to the channel. And so now we can just kind of jump on, and then who's ever hosting the show can just jump right in and be the host, which is great.
That's awesome. That is really great. Wow. So that did work out. That's really cool.
That was crazy that happened. We're like, wow, okay, what a coincidence that was. But no, I mean, so far it's worked out great. And then obviously we have Dawson's worked out 2 other shows. You got Marvel Mania with RJ and Metaverse, and you also got the Late Night Pool with Austin Lynn and Phil Barker. So, really cool guys. So definitely check those out as well. And, they do their shows on, was it Friday nights Friday nights, Saturday nights, and I think like Tuesday night is Marvel Mania. So that should be pretty cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right, man. Well, we'll have to do this again in the future. I want to thank you again for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here in the chat tonight. I love seeing these, nice turnouts. It's always a pleasure to have everybody here, and I'll see you next time. I'll be back with some more late night Q&A probably next week, and then I got some other things coming up, so stay tuned to the channel for that. Again, once again, like and subscribe, and definitely do the same for Nickatina, and I'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.